Hi, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, how to start the golf downswing perfectly in plane. Pretty important subject. It really is challenging for people and it needn't be. Give you some simple keys, a great drill using your golf bag, and towards the end of the video, a mental key that if you put it into practice will help smooth things out, get you on the right track. Briefly, if you're new to this channel, would love it if you'd subscribe. Helps us build momentum, helps us bring you free content. Also at the App Store, the Scratch Golf Academy app has lots of content. It's free for the time being. Hope you'll check that out. But what plane is the club supposed to be on? That's an easy one. It's the plane it's designed on. I've got a mallet head on a golf shaft here. If I kept my hands more or less in one spot and made a little baby swing, it just swings back and forth on the plane it's designed at. Now let's have a look at the pros briefly and we'll see what they're doing to get from the top of the backswing to get in this plane. Justin Rose on the left, Tom Watson on the right. Let's have a look at how Justin does it. So as we showed you with the mallet, to about club parallel to ground or hip high if you like, he's pretty much right on his plane line. He does this beautifully. But then there's going to be some upward swinging of the arm, some hinging of the wrist. So there's always some degree of rise here at the end of the backswing. And that means he has to have some downward movement before he really attacks the golf ball. The trouble is most people move straight towards the ball and they get steep. So let's have a look at him here. Down come the arms, and once he's back in that roughly hip high area and he's near his plane, then he can really begin his movement into the golf ball and strike it the proper way. Now let's contrast for just a moment, say, Matt Kuchar and Tom Watson. These would be relative extremes. So Matt Kuchar, we'll put that there. These cameras aren't perfectly still, but they'll be close enough. He is one of these golfers, does a great job. Obviously goes along the plane line, but stays very close to it. It's a big, tall guy, 6'5", with a very flat arm swing. He doesn't need much drop. He can really just kind of get into his attack to the golf ball earlier. Tom Watson, conversely, lots of lift of his arms. That is a big amount. So Watson is going to need a lot more downward drop of his arms and club before he gets to the plane, and in he goes. Now he doesn't get quite on the plane like Justin Rose does, but don't torture yourself. Just in the neighborhood here before you make your move to the ball will do, and into it you go. Okay, let's get to our drill. Okay, the golf bag drill shown to me by my good friend, noted teaching pro out in Oregon, Jeff Ritter. Use your golf bag. It's at about a 45-degree angle. If you don't have one, just use an alignment rod and use it like that. Now, don't get on it where you're banging into the bag. I've got a 6-iron. That's about the right sort of shaft angle. I would be maybe this much above it, and don't guide or direct the club with your little muscles of your hands. Just get flowing. The club should more or less be sliding up a little above that angle of that golf bag and more or less about over this back shoulder. Here's the principle. This trail arm, for me the right arm, is the one that's folded and has really helped get the club up off the ground. That straightening out gets the club down. Me turning and pivoting brings the club around and forward like that. You need both. You've got to have your body involved in the downswing as well as releasing the right arm, but if you're steep, you've got to get it released. You've got to get down straighter towards that angle. Conversely, the body. Let's have another look on TV briefly. I'll demonstrate some right and wrong stuff in slow motion. Then we'll get out and we'll hit one or two shots. Below this video, there's a link to a free 3-part video series, Solid Strike Formula from me. It's free to you. Hope you'll pick that up. Pitfall number 1. Let's look at Tiger Woods. Get him midway down. Certainly his right arm is released somewhat. This is what a lot of people do, and it is horrendous. They don't release the right arm. They just dip the right side. I'm telling you, people practice that pump. Don't do that. Keep your height. Here's me demonstrating it more the way we'd like to do it. There we go. Right arm's getting longer, but weight's bumping to the left. I'm not tilting to get the club down. Notice also as I do this, there's a dynamic look to it. That kind of a look. We're not trying to throw the club. We're just trying to lengthen the right arm. Pitfall number 2. And that is when people have been habitually swinging from out to in or above the plane, they almost always equally habitually leave the club face open. So as you work these pumps down in this area, feel that the club face is turning towards the turf and isn't staying open looking there. Very important you get that feel. Now in the much less, let me take it down a little bit more. In the much less common scenario, that is the scenario of a golfer that swings too far into out. They probably hit the bag before they hit the ball. You have to de-emphasize the straightening of the right arm. Not that it wouldn't happen, but emphasize body rotation. It's that body rotation that's going to get the swing path coming around you. So stay over the ball and rotate the body hard, and you'll cure that. So mental tip coming in just a moment here, something I think will help you put all these things into practice. But let's have a look at the shot from this angle. So there's my takeaway. Now I don't particularly have a problem coming over the top, but let's say I am that guy, so I'm releasing that right arm, but I'm still bumping left, I'm not tilting. And the idea is just to get down somewhere in the hip high area, somewhere in the delivery position, and once I'm there, let the flow of body motion bring the club forward to the ball. So there's my pump. Feel good, and right through. There's a 6-iron off a tee. Definitely use a tee. Hit it probably 110, 20 yards. Okay, mental tips. First off, relax. The more your mind and body are relaxed, the more playful you are, the more you are open to making a few mistakes, the quicker, the more fun you'll have, number one. But the tip I would say is this, in general, now, hey, you've got to work on body things sometimes, but in general, if you put your mind more on what you want the club to do, what the goal is, and less on specifically how to make it happen, you will unlock a lot more of your natural talent. So for me, once I've rehearsed this a few dozen times, let's assume you've done that, hey, I can feel I'm down nearer this part of the bag, but I'm not thinking specifically about body parts as I do it. I can sense my weight's a little on the front foot, and then I just have a nice sense the club goes along the ground for a while. It doesn't come up too quickly. Keep your mind loose, tap into some of that genius that we all have, that we often so seldom tap into when we work on our golf. You'll have some fun. It's fairly easy stuff. You can make progress. You can do this at home as well.